This is Bramble, and she will be accompanying us on the less extreme, more UK-based videos that I make about extreme weather events. So coming back to the video, this is probably what I think is the best example of, I say, global warming, or at least southern UK localized warming that you can find. And I'm going to show you and explain to you why. And it's a place called Bushy Park. I sometimes come here to sort of walk my dog if I want to sort of go out a bit further from the usual spots that I go. It's very nice. You do have deer here that are incredibly tame. You can get within sort of like a couple of meters of them. And I will show you videos of that later on, so stick to the end for that, or even skip to the end if you're more interested in that, and then come back to the main part of the video. But for now, let's just continue on to check out what I'm going to show you, which is pretty much a completely dried up lake. So if we do a quick freeze frame here, I just want to show you the sort of outline of where we're going. It's straight ahead of us, and I just want to notice a couple of things or point them out to you. That is, it has been incredibly hot for the last several weeks now, and the grass is just literally, in some areas, it just smells like straw. And one thing I want to point out also are these sort of mounds that you see sort of in the grass, and we'll get to that also a bit later. And also the fence around the entire sort of lake here. And that's one of the things which sort of I like to sort of would think that if it was completely dried up, then it wouldn't be worth putting the fence around. So this is one of the things which probably is proof that it was a really nice picturesque lake that was liked and admired by the parks and the authorities, and at the time, many years ago, and they decided to sort of protect it from the deer by putting this fence in. And also the water was quite deep as well, so they put the fence in as well as a sort of health and safety protection thing, but for protection against the water, not against sort of, I guess, the sort of dip that you'd get from having a dried up lake. But more on that a bit later. Let's just continue here. So we're sort of walking slowly over to the place. There's Bramble with a bigger stick, and yeah, she loves to sort of upgrade. The bigger the better. And as you see, we're walking close to it. See how dry the grass is. Definitely, the smell is just incredible. It's just like being next to a hay bale. And this is the fence, proper old sort of countryside fence. But we're going to walk now round to the gate, the entrance of the gate. And as you can see on the left, it still is quite green on the trees. If you look in there, you see it's all properly dried up. Even the grass has started to grow there. The grass is not fully dried up right in the center of the sort of, I'll call it, wet patch now. And notice here, if we just see here, you see the danger deep water sign. That proves that this was a long running, a lake which had a lot of water in it, enough to put that sign in there. And more reasonings and this lake has been dried up now for, I'd say, a good part of most of the year. And even when it does rain a lot, or did rain a lot, it just barely filled up. And I would say that this is proof of there being at least a global warming event happening in the south of the UK. And this, to me here, this is probably the most starkest proof that you'll find. But let's just continue sort of walking around, and I'll just show you a few more things. So here we're actually walking in the old lake bed, and Bramble wants a stick being thrown, but I'm not doing that. I'm too busy holding the camera and thinking about where to go next. And here we go. We're going to walk over to the green patch now. And surprised, I was very surprised that this hasn't dried up completely either. So it must show that there's still a tiny bit of water in there because it hasn't rained for weeks, or at least sort of just moisture levels in there. And here, so this is the deepest part, or what is the sort of deepest part going of the bed that I can see going in, and this would have probably have been the deepest part of the lake here. We're now going to sort of go over here and just walk around a bit, show you the sort of the size of the bank as well, just to get you an idea of just how much water was in here. And this water was being sustained enough to put this fence around and have a sign saying deep water. So here, see the bank, it goes up quite steep. There, see it's quite steep. You get sort of more of a side-on profile here. Here with the tree, you can really see that there. And yeah, this proves that this pond was filled up year-round for many, many years and has since dried up. And there's no sort of pipes feeding into it, no pipes taking from it. There's no animals that come in and drink from it. The only thing that you'll get are people coming in and having sort of picnics around the edge. And the only thing that I can sort of think of that would have caused this and changed this was a change in global climate, or in the climate of the south area of this area of the UK, and a change in climate of making it hotter. There's Bramble here, getting her to sit down. She's never been in here before. She's not normally allowed in, but just for the sake of this video, I let her in. So back when I opened the gate, she stopped by the gate, wondering whether she could get in or whether she was allowed, but I let her in this time. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about the lake, the only thing I can think of is this increase in temperature that has happened, this increased evaporation levels and decreased sort of rainfall. There you can see it. It's very stark, especially around the top there. You can really see the edge of the lake all around there. That was a really great shot there. And see the bench there on the left, that's where people have their picnics. You can come in through the gate, and yeah, it's actually really nice. And imagine it must have been super nice with the lake. So I've been coming to Bushy Park for a few years now, and this is the driest I've seen it. And it's definitely getting drier and drier. And I've noticed that the heat waves coming in over the years as well. So it's definitely warming events happening. But for me, I keep saying it, but it's true. This is, for me, the most tangible, starkest example of it. See over there, the deer in the background, or over there in the far distance. I get a much better video of deers, of deer. I don't know what the plural of deer. I think it's deer. Is in a bit later on. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that as sort of my proof of there being definitely some sort of heating event happening, and to me that is just the starkest proof of global warming, or of some sort of global warming. I'm not going to go quickly over to show you some deer because horses. I'd forgotten about that. The sort of horse ridings that happen across the park as well. Bramble is great with deer and horses, by the way, so very happy to let her off the lead. What you do get there are unfriendly other dogs. So, and Bramble loves to say hello to sort of all the other dogs, so got to be careful about that. She's just too friendly. So these are the famous deer we have here, descended from generations going back to Henry VIII, where he used Bushy Park as his hunting ground, and they do come so close. I mean, are so unbelievably close. You can see here in the video that I'm probably about, I would say, 2 or 3 meters away from the deer, and Bramble is as well. So Bramble's just sort of walking past them. It's all right, and they got full-on antlers. You know, pretty sort of could be pretty intimidating, and you have to be careful because they are still wild and they can charge, but They just mostly just hang around during the day and they just ignore you. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed sort of talking you through, me walking you through sort of proof, if you want to take it as proof of sort of definitely some sort of warming event that has happened over the last few decades, at least in the southern area of the UK. And if you wanted to, you could take that as sort of global warming as a whole. But just something I wanted to show you, really. And please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed it or found it very interesting. I will be going to other sites as well, similar to this, and also sites about sort of more extreme scenarios and actually, hopefully, getting into it when those extreme events have happened. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.